When ambition is wrapped in diamonds and every smile hides a motive, one woman stands at the center of it all. Bertha Russell didn't climb to the top of New York's elite just to play nice. She came to rule. And now, in the Season 3 finale, she's ready to make her boldest move yet. But with one wrong step, she could lose everything she fought for. Bertha Russell has spent the entire season walking a dangerous line. She's battled against the old money elite, outsmarted her rivals, and taken risks that most women in her position wouldn't dare. From the moment she threw open the doors of her opera house, she sent a clear message: she would not be ignored. But now, as we approach the final episode, the stakes have never been higher, and the trailer gives us a glimpse of just how far Bertha is willing to go. This season has shown Bertha facing resistance from every corner. Whether it was Mrs. Astor's cold shoulder, the whispers behind her back at grand dinners, or the subtle insults disguised as polite conversations, the battle wasn't always loud, but it was constant. Still, Bertha didn't retreat. She moved smarter. She pushed her daughter Gladys into the spotlight, made bold alliances with influential men, and used her wealth like a weapon. Each move was calculated. Every party, every dress, every guest list, it was all part of her strategy to dominate New York society. In the finale trailer, we see a different side of Bertha, one that's calm, almost too calm. Her words are sharp, her tone controlled, and her eyes say more than her lips ever could. There's a tension in her home, something boiling beneath the surface. She's no longer just playing for acceptance. She's making final decisions that could either crown her or crush her. A scene flashes where she meets with someone behind closed doors. Is this a new alliance, or is she cutting someone off for good? Another moment in the trailer shows Bertha standing beside George, but unlike earlier episodes where they moved as a team, here there's space between them. Could this mean that even her marriage is feeling the pressure of her choices? George has always supported her rise, but he's a businessman first. If Bertha's war for status starts to damage the Russell empire, will he still stand by her, or will she be forced to choose between power and partnership? The trailer also hints at a confrontation, one where Bertha is not invited, not welcome, and yet she shows up anyway. Dressed in red, walking through a crowd that doesn't want her there. This is pure Bertha. She doesn't wait for permission. She arrives and demands attention. It's not just about being part of high society anymore. It's about controlling it. And then there's the final few seconds of the promo. Bertha looks directly at someone, we don't know who, and says, "You'll regret underestimating me." It's not a threat. It's a promise. This line could define the entire finale. Because Bertha has always been underestimated. And every time someone doubted her, she came back stronger. But this time, the risks are deeper. This isn't just about gaining favor. It's about holding on to the empire she's built, brick by brick, invitation by invitation. So what's Bertha's final move? Will she take down her enemies once and for all? Or has she made too many enemies to survive the game she created? One thing is clear. Bertha isn't stepping back. She's stepping forward, and whatever happens next will shake the foundations of the Gilded Age. In a world where every woman is expected to marry well and stay quiet, Marian dares to dream of something more. But dreams don't come without sacrifice. As the Season 3 finale nears, Marian stands at a breaking point, caught between love and freedom, heart and duty. What she chooses now could change her life forever. From the very first season, Marian has always felt like a quiet rebellion inside a loud, rigid world. Unlike the other women around her, she never fully fit into the rules of New York's high society. While others fought to climb the ladder through wealth, marriage, or power, Marian always searched for something deeper, something that felt real. Now, in episode 8, we see her facing the hardest decision she's ever had to make. The trailer for the finale gives us only glimpses of Marian, but those glimpses speak volumes. One scene shows her standing alone in a quiet room, sunlight filtering through lace curtains. Her eyes are filled with doubt. She clutches a letter, likely from someone important. Could it be from Mr. Reichs again? Has he returned to stir up her past feelings? Or is there a new man who sees her not as a social pawn, but as a woman with her own voice? Throughout Season 3, Marian has tried to find her place in a world that doesn't seem made for her. Her Aunt Agnes wants her to conform, to marry well, dress properly, and behave as expected. But Marian has always wanted more. She wants love, but not at the cost of her identity. She wants to belong, but not if it means becoming someone she's not. One of the most powerful moments in the trailer shows Marian walking through a garden, deep in thought, while behind her, other women whisper and watch. The pressure to choose a side is building. Should she follow her heart, even if it means losing the protection and support of her family? Or should she give in, marry someone suitable, and live a life of quiet misery? There's also a new layer of tension between Marian and Bertha. While Bertha represents ambition and power, Marian stands for quiet strength and integrity. If the finale places these two women on opposite paths, could we see them clash? Not with anger, but with values. A scene where Bertha offers Marian a favor and Marian hesitates might hint at a deeper conflict. Will Marian accept help from someone who plays by entirely different rules? We can't ignore Agnes Van Ryn either. Her control over Marian has always been subtle but firm. Agnes believes she's protecting Marian by guiding her toward the right future. But in doing so, she may be unknowingly pushing her niece away. In the trailer, there's a sharp exchange between them. Agnes says something cold, and Marian doesn't flinch. That silence says everything. Marian is no longer the soft-spoken girl from Season 1. She's grown, and now she's ready to choose for herself. The Season 3 finale could finally give Marian the freedom she's been searching for. But it may come at a price. Love might mean scandal. Independence might mean loneliness. And both might mean saying goodbye to the life she's always known. Will Marian walk the path of tradition? Or will she break every rule to live on her own terms? Whatever choice she makes, one thing is clear. Marian's quiet strength is no longer quiet. And in the world of the Gilded Age, that kind of strength can shake the ground beneath even the most powerful families. Not every legacy is inherited. Some must be rewritten. While Bertha and George Russell rule the ballroom and the boardroom, their children are quietly rewriting the family's future. In the Season 3 finale, Larry and Gladys are no longer just the heirs to fortune. They're making bold moves of their own. But with independence comes risk, and in a world built on image, the wrong choice could bring it all crashing down. The Russell children have spent much of the series in the background, well-mannered, well-dressed, and always under the watchful eyes of their powerful parents. But now, as Season 3 reaches its climax, both Larry and Gladys are stepping into the spotlight. And this time, they're not following the script their mother wrote for them. Let's begin with Larry. From the start, he's been presented as the dutiful son, loyal, smart, and quietly observant. George Russell has always expected Larry to walk in his footsteps, to take on the family's business empire and continue their name with strength and strategy. But this season, Larry's passion for architecture has become more than a hobby. It's become a declaration. He wants to build, not just follow. And that desire could set him at odds with the very legacy he's supposed to protect. In the finale trailer, there's a scene that stands out. Larry is shown looking over a set of blueprints in a sunlit office, his hands steady, but his expression uncertain. Someone enters the room, we don't see who, but Larry's face tightens, suggesting a conversation that could define his path. Is it George, challenging his choices? Or is it a partner offering him a chance to step out of his father's shadow for good? We also see glimpses of Larry walking through a partially constructed building, possibly one of his own designs, while voices off-screen argue about risking the Russell name. This isn't just a career decision anymore. Larry is trying to become his own man, and the pressure to either prove himself or fall in line is building fast. Then there's Gladys, the jewel of her mother's social campaign, and perhaps the biggest surprise of this season. For too long, she's been treated as a pawn in Bertha's endless chess game for status. Dressed like a doll, introduced to eligible men like merchandise, and always told what to say, where to stand, and how to smile. But that's changing. Slowly, and now, in the finale, possibly explosively. The trailer hints at rebellion. Gladys appears in a daring outfit, one Bertha would never approve of, dancing at a party filled with unfamiliar faces. She's laughing, free, completely unbothered by reputation. Is she finally breaking free? Or is she making a dangerous mistake that will bring scandal crashing down on the Russells? What's more intriguing is a brief shot of Gladys having a secret meeting with a young man her mother doesn't approve of. Their hands touch briefly before she pulls away, aware of the risk. This small moment says everything. Gladys wants to live, to love, to be more than a symbol of her family's success, and she's willing to disobey Bertha to have it. The question now is, how far will she go? Will she run away with someone beneath her status? Will she expose the cracks in her mother's perfect image? Or will she simply choose silence? A quiet act of resistance in a house where every decision is made for her. As we head into the finale, the Russell family isn't just dealing with outside pressure. The storm is already inside. Larry and Gladys are no longer just children being shaped by their parents. They are becoming adults who want different things, things that don't always align with the Russell name. And perhaps that's the real threat to Bertha's empire. Not the Astors, not the old money elite, but her own children, quietly stepping out of her shadow and daring to live differently. Because in the Gilded Age, legacies aren't just built, they can be rewritten. And in episode 8, Larry and Gladys might just take the first steps in doing exactly that. The real danger in high society isn't who speaks the loudest, it's who whispers the softest. In a world built on alliances, secrets are currency, and betrayal is always just one conversation away. As the Season 3 finale looms, the Gilded Age isn't just ending a chapter, it's unraveling a web. And when the dust settles, no one may be left standing where they once were. All season long, we've watched elegant dinners, polished smiles, and carefully chosen words. But behind the curtain, a storm has been brewing. The finale trailer confirms what we've suspected. The battle lines in New York's elite are shifting, and those once seen as allies may now be enemies in disguise. Let's start with the social Cold War between Agnes von Rhine and Bertha Russell. While they rarely share screen time, their rivalry has been simmering beneath every move. Agnes holds tight to the values of old money, quiet control, tradition, and status earned by birth. Bertha, on the other hand, is fire, new, ambitious, and unafraid to force her way into rooms that were never meant for her. The trailer reveals a subtle but powerful moment. Agnes receiving an invitation she clearly wasn't expecting. Her face shifts, a flicker of surprise, maybe even insult. Is this Bertha's doing? A final attempt to either reconcile or dominate? Could it be a public test designed to humiliate one of them in front of the city's elite? Whatever it is, the move feels like the calm before a storm. But the real shock may come from Oscar van Rhijn. This season, Oscar has been playing with fire, balancing public charm with a secret life that, if exposed, could ruin him. He's been manipulating alliances, seeking marriage not for love, but for security. Now, in the finale, that mask may finally crack. A tense exchange in the trailer shows Oscar being confronted, not by an enemy, but by someone close. The line is simple. You think no one knows, but you're wrong. This could be Marian, it could be Agnes, or it could be someone we never expected. If Oscar's secret is out, it threatens not only his own future, but the fragile image of the Van Rhijn family. And in a world obsessed with reputation, that might be the most dangerous betrayal of all. Meanwhile, whispers surround the Scott family, particularly Peggy. Her voice has grown louder this season, her presence more central, and her story more powerful. The trailer hints at her making a bold decision, stepping into a room full of white elites and refusing to shrink. Her journalism, her independence, and her commitment to truth have made her both respected and feared. But this finale may place her at the center of a truth the elite are desperate to hide. Could Peggy be the one to expose a scandal that connects the Russells, the Van Ryns, and the broader world of the Gilded Age? Her integrity makes her dangerous because she doesn't play the same game. She tells the truth, even when it burns. And finally, there's George Russell, steady, strategic, and ruthless when needed. But even he seems rattled in the trailer. A rare argument with Bertha, a glance toward Larry that feels more like concern than pride. Is George losing control of his empire? Or is he discovering that his greatest challenge isn't isness, but the people closest to him? This finale won't just be about grand balls and social victories. It will be about survival, personal, financial, and emotional. Every alliance formed this season is about to be tested. Some will break, others will bend, but all will reveal their true nature.
So who stands where? And who's already moved?
Is Marian quietly preparing to stand against Agnes? Is Gladys secretly aligned with someone who threatens her mother's plans? Is Larry hiding a business deal that could divide the Russells from within? Is Oscar about to be exposed by the very society he hoped to marry into? As the curtain falls on Season 3, the Gilded Age promises not just endings, but revelations. And in a world where secrets are traded like gold, the biggest betrayal may not be the one we see coming, but the one that's been quietly building all along.